Hello, KidsCom. Happy Easter! It's the 4th week of Lent. That's 4 weeks, and each week we've had a different theme to help us celebrate our Lenty goodness. Last week, you talked about forgiveness. What is this week's theme, you ask? That's a good question, but make sure you have your Lent kit with you so that you can solve the puzzle at the end of the video. Okay, I can't wait any longer. Are you ready? Here it goes. Obedience. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun, and it isn't, but it sounds a little bit like something your parents might have said to you when you were much younger and less refined like you are now, right? Like, you need to obey. Did you know your parents were training you to love? Interesting. This week's verse will help. Why don't you look the verse up with me and we'll read it together. It's found in the book of 2 John. It's my favorite of the numbered Johns. It's only one chapter long, so it's in 2 John 1, verse 6. Okay, once you're ready, let's go ahead and read it together. Here we go. Love means doing what God has commanded us, and He has commanded us to love one another, just as you heard from the beginning. So obeying and loving are related. Okay, well, what's our response going to be? What is the challenge this week, you might ask? That is a very good question. All right, I want you to take some time looking around your home or church for what would be considered a small job and do them. Okay? We want to be practicing obedience, practicing doing those things that need to be done, because Jesus said if we follow His commands, we are loving Him. And that's our goal, to love Jesus well. All right, that can be hard. So let me pray for you, and then we'll do our puzzle. All right? Okay. God, thank you for everything you give us. Help us to remember that following you in little ways is just as important as the big ways. And help us to do that. We love you. Amen.
Hello, Lent agents, and welcome to Puzzle Time. Get out your circle ciphers. It's time to do some decoding. This week's passphrase is broken up by word. Okay, you also might want a piece of paper and a pencil just to take notes of some of the numbers that you're going to be doing, because it's time to do some counting. Our first scene takes us to a bunch of cute little frogs. Okay, you got to count up those frogs. That is the first thing. Don't get distracted by those 2 frogs that seem to be ribbit. Okay, I'll stop. How many frogs did you get? Did you get them all? Next, you need to count the lily pads that frogs are not sitting on. The frogs have abandoned a certain number of lily pads, and those are little green circles. Some of them look like pizzas with a slice missing. How many lily pads do you see? If at any point you get behind on this, don't worry. You can always pause the video, do the counting, and then move on. Next, there are some big pesky flies, or as those frogs would say, yummy lunch. How many flies do you see? Lastly, you got to count up those logs floating along in the river. There's not too many. I bet you can get it. All right, did you get them all? If you didn't, go ahead and pause and finish counting, and then you can catch up. All right, this is how many you should have seen. Good job if you got them all right. That is word 1. Let's move on to word 2. Word 2 takes us into the automobile range. Look at all those cool cars. All right, actually, to start off, you need to count the traffic lights. Traffic lights are red, yellow, and green. How many traffic lights? I think you can get that really easy. Next, it's time to count cars. There's quite a few of them. Make sure you get them all. Beep, beep. That's the car noise I could come up with right now. Okay, and lastly, there are some traffic cones. How many traffic cones are there? And then you've counted them all. Did you get them all? All right, let's see if you want to pause now and finish counting, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to move on. You should have gotten 4 traffic lights, 21 cars, and 7 traffic cones. Is that what you got? Man, you're good at this. All right, that is word 2. The last one. Oh, this one's going to be a challenge. Are you ready? Here we are. We are under the sea, and there are so many things to see here. But first, let's count those seahorses. Do you see the seahorses? They have those curly little tails. Count up all the seahorses. They're all over the place. Did you find them all? Next, it's time to count some starfish. Oh, some of them are smiling at me. That makes me happy. Count up all the starfish, and that is your second number. Last, no, not last. Next, you need to count up all of those crabs. There's a lot of crabs. Did you get them? Finally, count up all the turtles. Most of the turtles are swimming together, so they should be easy. Did you get them all? Okay, go ahead and pause it if you need a little bit more time. Here we go. There were 4 letters in the last word, and their numbers are right there on the screen. Is that what you got? Did you get those numbers when you counted them up? Did you get them all right? You agents are getting so good at this. All right, just to review, these are the final numbers for the 3 words in this week's passphrase. So it's time to decode those numbers, and then let us know on Sunday for a prize and a ping pong ball in the tank. All right, it's been fun. We'll see you next week.